I have to unmute myself. Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith Sellers. I'm the President and CEO of the Washington, D.C. Economic Partnership. And I'm trying to get adjusted to the screen. But I am the moderator for today's panel, Young Entrepreneurs Necessity, the Mother of Invention, and how to turn your ideas into a business reality. Today we have a great panel that DC HealthLink has put together, PowerUP. The want to introduce the four panelists. We have Gabrielle Jordan, the founder and CEO of Jewels of Jordan, an Excel Youth Mentoring Institute. We also have Naya Inzuri Bayer, co-owner Honey Bunny Boutique, Nicola Shaw, business consultant, District of Columbia Small Business Development Center. And lastly, we have Andrea Evans, intellectual property attorney, the law firm of Andrea Hintz Evans, LLC. So I'm excited about today's session, primarily because, and I'll share with you all a little story. As a kid growing up in Greensboro, North Carolina, my father was a firefighter and a barber, and he also had a corner store adjacent to his barbershop. And during the summertime, at an early age, I was responsible for picking out the candy and restocking it for his corner store. So that was my kind of first entree into entrepreneurship and running small businesses. In addition to that, I also did odd jobs around the barbershop, i.e. I was the person that was cleaning up the hair on the floor. But one thing I learned about entrepreneurship, it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of consistency of just going back and doing things over and over. And so today I'm delighted to have the panelists that we have here today. With that said, I'd like to turn over the first question or introduction to Gabrielle Jordan, the founder and CEO of Jewels Jordan.
Hi everyone. My name is Gabrielle Jordan. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's very interesting. I've never done a virtual conference before. I think this is really awesome. Yes, my name is Gabrielle. I'm a young entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 10 years old, called Jewels of Jordan, which I still own and operate today. It's a high-end jewelry company, handmade pieces with natural stones, freshwater pearls, for professional women in business and modern women. But yeah, I started that company when I was 10, and being so young, getting into business, young people, I mean, especially in that time, young entrepreneurship wasn't as much of a thing, or wasn't as normal as it is nowadays, which is amazing. But being so young and into it, a lot of young people and parents were very interested in what I did and how I got started. And so when I was about 11 years old, I wrote my first book, Making of a Young Entrepreneur, The Kid's Guide to Developing the Mindset for Success, which was a book really focused on helping young people not only learn how to start a business, but develop the mindset of an entrepreneur, and what it takes to own and operate your own little baby, your business. And so from there, that book became a bestseller, and I started to speak. And then around 2014, I co-founded the Excel Youth Mentoring Institute, where I brought this love for entrepreneurship and this desire to help other young people get into business into a bigger reality with this nonprofit, where it's a virtual institute where we provide educational tools and mentors to young people and their parents who are looking to get into business, and providing that education for them to jump in and not just learn about business, but learn through business, because I believe it is such a wonderful tool, especially for young people, and it teaches such important skills as a professional and as an individual. So yeah, that's me.
Well, thank you, Gabrielle. A question for you to follow up. You shared with us how you got started, and how you moved into your move from your idea to the business.
Yeah.
Can you share with the audience, how do you market your business? How do you get your name, your business out there into the general population?
Absolutely. And I mean, when I started Jewels of Jordan, which was the jewelry company, social media really wasn't much of a thing at that time. And so how it is now and how it was then, I believe there are just so many more doors that are open towards it. But I think that the concept still remains the same in terms of marketing. It's about connectivity, right? It's about making sure that your message connects with the people that you want it to connect with. And so for me, when I got started, I kind of had to figure out, exactly what it is I wanted to make, and who exactly I wanted to make it for. And so, I would go to like events, and I would go to so many, I'd go like on circuits of just events after events with little pop-ups of booths of my jewelry and, banners and things like that. And this was in the beginning before I really knew who my market was, but it helped me to kind of figure out who, who's attracted to the company, to what I made, to the jewelry. And from there I was able to kind of, focus my vision and who I was making the work for. But now, it's with social media, it's really fantastic because you can kind of do that same thing, kind of figure out who your market is through social media, through who posting, and then obviously social media is kind of like a virtual business card. So when you go to events and when you are going networking and such, you can use social media as your virtual business card, and giving people your Instagram or Facebook, so they can see all these images that really hopefully will connect with your market and who you're talking to. But at the end of the day, I believe it's about connectivity. It's about finding and being very specific with
And I'm curious, can you share, how does your product stand out amongst all the competition? And even now in this time of COVID-19, how are you able to connect with your customers?
Absolutely. I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with the marketing, what I had shared with that, but just on a deeper level, like I said, connectivity is very important. And I believe that the necessity of the importance is connectivity. I think something only becomes important to a person when they connect with it. And not just in COVID-19, but I think for a while now, since the inception of like Facebook, and especially when Instagram came to be, the way that a company connected and really stood out from other companies and other products wasn't just like a gimmick or through some special idea, but it was about making you a part of the product. And I think nowadays, you as an individual like me, are just as much a part of the product or service as the product or service itself. So in connecting with other people and really being able to stand out, it's about putting a piece of who you are into the product and service. And to put that literally, when I first started Jewels of Jordan, I specifically made for, entrepreneurs and women in business, because that was the audience that I wanted to attract. And that was the kind of person that I wanted to be and wanted to sell to the pieces that I like to make. And currently, as I transition with Jewels of Jordan, and in the work that I'm making in the future collections, I am refining even more the style and designs and such like that, basing it off of places that I've traveled, and basing it off of cultures and experiences, and putting that into what I create. And that's important to me. I mean, travel and culture and experiences, very, very important to who I am and have shaped me. Being a Trinidadian girl, my family half Trinidadian, and then my dad is from DC. But being able to bring in culture and experience into that has really allowed me to create unique designs that people have attracted to. And so, even in COVID, I think that just takes a bit more creativity, right? It just takes a little bit more ingenuity. Again, social media is beautiful for that. And things like this, being able to think up on the fly events, ways of reaching people and connecting people where they are, is very smart and special. But yeah, it really comes down to being able to use who you are, what makes you unique, and putting that into the company in order to elevate what makes it unique. I know the unique value proposition really works together in this day and age, which is beautiful.
Now, you've been around for 10 years,
Yes.
your business. And we have the next panelist on in this session is Honey Bunny. And what advice could you give to these young ladies in running a business and starting a business?
Yeah.
Here where you were 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's so wonderful. It makes me smile just seeing like so many young people like Honey Bunny. I've looked into you guys and seen the work that you guys have been doing, and your growth. I think it's amazing. And so I think the biggest thing, something that I learned, especially when I got started, when I first started, I took things very slowly, which was wonderful. And I learned and took the time to learn everything and, go bit by bit. As things started to pick up, and as, success really started to come to the company and other parts of my world, I started to kind of rush things and kind of come up with, I need this idea and this idea and this idea, and, keep momentum going and everything like that. And though wanting to keep momentum in a business is really important, it's not good when it sacrifices the vision and the mission. So I definitely think that for you guys, as you continue to grow and find success, make sure you hold on to that vision and that mission, what it is that makes your company unique, and don't just chase after opportunity of like what can be successful, and don't just chase after the new thing or to shift just because you want to follow something new or be something new. It's really important to hold on to that mission and vision and take things step by step, because that's where authentic growth happens and true distinction in a company really happens.
Well, thank you, Gabrielle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pivot and go to Honey Bunny. We have Naya and Zuri Byers. Their shop, Honey Bunny, is located on 8th Street Northeast on Capitol Hill. I've been there several times. And they are the young proprietors of Honey Bunny, natural soaps and other items. With that, Naya, Zuri, would you all like to give an overview of your company?
Well, before we started Honey Bunny, Mommy and Daddy were looking at the products that they were using on my skin because my sister Zuri was not born yet. And they were like, what is this? And is this good for my child's skin? So my mommy decided to start making her own products, and then we decided to share it with the world.
Wonderful, and you all have been pretty successful. I know that you've won at least 2 awards from Think Local First, I believe last year and the year before. And I've, as I've shared with you, I've purchased several of your products, so congratulations on that front. Curious, how have you all adjusted during this coronavirus pandemic?
Well, in the last few years, we didn't have to wear masks or wear gloves or wipe on the iPad or anything like that. But we still had to use gloves to pick up the soap for people's orders and stuff like that.
So you're taking, I'm sorry.
For customers are washing their hands a lot more and starting to look at what they're using on their skin. So we've decided, and so now is a great time to start or continue selling soap. But some customers are uncomfortable coming into the store. So we've had delivery and pickup for a while, but now we're starting to promote and advertise that a lot more for customers who just don't want to come in.
And so have you seen business increase during this time, or is it about the same?
Definitely increased a lot.
Okay. What's the next big thing you would like to do? Zori, can you speak up a little?
And we want to make lots of more other stores.
So not too long ago, we were talking about what our 1,000th store would look like. And we decided that we wanted it to be big, like you'd be able to touch the top of the moon from the middle floor.
I love that. You want to shoot for the moon, correct? Well, I'm sure you all would be creating some new product, you know, some moon soap or something of that nature. But I wanted to thank you and congratulate you for your for being here today and for all the hard work that you've done to get from the beginning to now. And I'll circle back around with you shortly. Thank you. Next, we have Nicola Shaw, business consultant, District Columbia's Small Business Development Center, located off of Georgia Avenue. Nicola, will you provide us with an overview of your organization?
Surely. First of all, I'd like to thank Linda and of course Mia for allowing us to be a participant in this new era of resilience and opportunity. We at the DC Small Business Development Center, we are celebrating our 40th year at Howard University, which is an HBCU. The center is located in the School of Business at 2600 6th Street Northwest, and we invite you to visit our website at www.dcsbdc.org, and our telephone number there, because we're going to offer you a lot of free services, is 202-806-1550. And even though we are in a COVID-19, our staff with over 100 years of experience collectively, we are working diligently to help those small businesses in the District of Columbia virtually. So call us and we're available to help you.
Thank you. Can you share with the group, so we have a lot of folks online who are interested in starting a business, a lot of young folks. Can you share why is it necessary for entrepreneurs to develop a business plan? Are business plans still relevant today where it's as much as they were 10 years ago?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me kind of give you a little bit of an education for our listeners and our viewers. I'm hoping that you have pen and pencil available to you because there's going to be a test at the end of this session. So let me give you Webster's definition of a business plan. It's a written document describing the nature of the business, the sales and marketing strategy, and the financial background, and containing a projected profit and loss statement. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, which I am too with the Shaw Consulting Group, and by the way, Keith, we must be cousins because I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, and my parents owned a dry cleaners. So that's just a little short note. So I want to say that a business plan is truly the roadmap to your success. But let me give you another definition. Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is really a person who organizes and operates a business, taking a greater than normal financial risk. So you have a risk taker, which is an entrepreneur, and you have a documented plan on your road to success. If you don't put it on paper, it's a concept, it's an idea. You have to write it down.
Are you finding a lot of folks who are successful have a business plan versus the ones who don't?
I find that they have a business plan. However, they have not looked at their business plan for several years. If you are a new business, you really need to have that business that's going to chart your success. That business plan is going to help you. And with that business plan, as a new business, the first year, you should be looking at your business plan monthly because you are growing. It's growth on a continual basis. Now, as you get to the third and fifth year, you should be looking at it on a quarterly basis. And by 5 years, if you are continue to grow, you should be looking at that every 6 months. Because again, it's a changing document. And it is a document that you can use to your advantage or your disadvantage.
If I'm a young entrepreneur and I'm looking to start a business, I realize at certain points it can be kind of overwhelming, just getting it pen to paper. Should I develop a one-page business plan, or should it be 50 pages?
Well, a one-page business plan is basically a summary. It needs to be a little more detailed than that, but 50 pages, because you're going to find that as you grow, your financial assistance or you're seeking a loan is also going to be needed. So you really need, I wouldn't recommend 50 pages because a lending officers such as Citibank or Wells Fargo, they are trying to certainly justify you in terms of giving you a loan. Well, they're not going, let's be realistic. They're not going to look at 50 pages, but they will look at a concise, a thoroughly thought out business plan that consists of about 13 elements. And those 13 elements will walk you through the process leading to your profitability.
With that said, what resources does the DC Small Business Development Center offer for entrepreneurs? And is there a cost for that, or are they free?
Well, we use the term, it's a 4-letter word, and it says free, F-R-E-E. We have free or low cost, and when I say low cost, our workshops are never or rarely over $10. So you can log in, log in to our website. You certainly can call us, make an appointment. We will work with you in terms of those 13 steps, starting with really developing the business history and the background, ending up with your financials. What's your strategy? What's your technology? All of this is included in your business plan. Certainly, we'd like to also tell you that we're starting a new module in terms of our how to develop the fundamentals of a business plan. The first one will be done with our partners, DCRA, the District Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs, through the Small Business Resource Center. It will be held on July the 22nd. And again, we're doing this virtually. It's going to require that you do a little homework before you attend our workshop. But again, that's to help you get through developing a successful business plan.
Now, you all are instrumental in helping people with the business plan at the beginning. Do you all provide or offer coaching or counseling once a person starts their business? So let's say they're open for 6 months or a year later, I would like to meet with you and get guidance and coaching, technical assistance on how do I grow my business or reformatting my business plan. Do you all offer those services?
We offer those services, but not only that, Keith, we are really co-located in several of the wards throughout the District of Columbia. DC Small Business Development Center is the lead center, but our partners include DCRA, also Marshall Heights, the DC Chamber of Commerce, the Anacostia Economic Development Corporations. We are located in 7 of the 8 wards throughout the District of Columbia. Not only that, we don't stop serving you because our objective is to help you grow. We are really a one-stop shop to your business success. So we invite you to come in to work with us so that we can help you. We do have clients. Out of our 450 some clients, we have clients that have been with us for several years. We don't stop serving you because we're really interested in your being successful. So we will take you as a youth entrepreneur, a new business, and a seasoned company. Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. And I just wanted to touch on, please answer this question. In light of everything that's occurred and come to surface over the past 4 weeks, are there more resources, opportunities for African American minority businesses that you see coming, that you see out there for startup companies?
Absolutely, because our partnership with working with the DC Small Business Development, with the DSLBD, and through the Procurement Technical Assistance Center at DSLBD, these opportunities are filtered into us, and we help those businesses. We will, let me put a disclaimer in it. We will not write your business plan for you. We will not write your proposal in terms of contracting opportunities. We will guide you through the process. We will review it for you, and hopefully that will help you in being successful. So we're inviting those young people to come and work with us because they are our future, and we want to ensure that they will make the next generation of entrepreneurs, and us old people continue to be proud of them. So in the words of Rihanna, and I'm sure the young entrepreneurs that are out there listening to us, she is obviously a fashion icon, a jet setter, and a music mogul. So let me give you a quote from Rihanna. Rihanna says, "You may never be good enough for everybody, but you will always be good to be the best for somebody. Follow your dream and you will be successful."
With that, I wanted to say thank you. That was a very powerful quote, and it's a great opportunity for us to transition to the legal advice that you're going to need, or one's going to need when they're going to be opening their business. Today we have Andrea Evans, who is an attorney, intellectual property attorney. A lot of people think about the fun aspect, the making money of opening a business and running a business, and they kind of shy away from the legal aspect, but it's always important and necessary to have that coaching, that guidance from a legal perspective. With that, I'd like to introduce Andrea Evans. If you would provide us with an overview of your firm.
Thank you. And Keith, I have the pleasure of doing the fun law. So this is fun because everybody has some type of intellectual property. My name is Andrea Evans. Like you said, I own the law firm of Andrea Hence Evans, and I'm a patent, trademark, and copyright attorney I represent clients worldwide with U.S. patent, trademark, and copyright issues. I also learned that by the 3rd grade, children permanently lose their interest in STEM, and I own a hands-on STEM program, Kidgineer, and we provide hands-on educational engineering programs such as our Rock the Code video game class, our chemistry classes, and more. And then I recently started Boss Squire, a mentoring program for lawyers. But I'm excited to hear from all the other panelists, and especially Naya and Zuri. My daughter's name is Naya, so I love the name Naya, and I love the name. But the beauty of intellectual property is everyone watching this panel today, including you, Keith, has some type of intellectual property. So if you're an inventor, you're going to need to protect that with a patent. If you have the name of your business, Honey Bunny, the name of your products, the name of this series, POWERUP, that's something that can be protected with a federal trademark. And then last but not least, these slides that we're watching, the notes that you're taking, can be protected with the copyright. So the way you think about it is you're going to patent the television, trademark the name of that television like Sony, and then copyright the written instructions or the scripts of the television show. So everybody has intellectual property, and I have the pleasure of protecting and enforcing intellectual property.
Can you share with us what are the ways that business owners might be vulnerable? How might they remain resilient, protect the business ideas and work product of their brand? You just mentioned a couple of the slides and those type of collateral things, but could you expand a little bit more?
Sure. So the beauty of it, like I said, is everyone has some type of intellectual property, but there's so many myths and misconceptions that people don't understand when they should protect intellectual property or why they should protect it. So the first thing is, if you think you have an invention, for example, you can go to google.com/patents and do some free research. Research and see if the invention is out there. If it's out there, you know to stop. If you don't find anything, you know to consult a professional attorney like myself to do some research. Same thing with the name of your business. The beauty of trademarks is people don't realize as soon as you create a name for that business, you can actually file a trademark application even if you haven't used it yet, if you intend to. So let's say you're watching this and you say, you know, I need to get a trademark. I never thought about protecting my name. Even if you've been in business 10 years, you can actually start and file your trademark. So that's something to do. And of course, Google is not your lawyer, but Google is a good tool to do some research on the name. So if you automatically Google your name and you see that someone else is doing something nearly identical to what you're doing, then you know to change the name. Once you do that, it's always best to then consult with a professional attorney like myself to get that professional research done. And then last but not least, everything, as soon as you put the pen to paper, is protected with a copyright. So your notes that you're taking today, that's automatically protected, but you can't enforce the copyright unless you register it. So what you're going to want to do is, as soon as you write that book or put that content on the website, you're going to want to file it at the Library of Congress and get some protection. But the main thing is, I want to make sure you all know that you should protect it, and I want to encourage everyone watching to be more proactive than reactive. So what that means is protect your intellectual property and use it as a sword so you already have it, versus spending more money after someone takes your name or takes your brand or takes your invention to try to scramble and get your rights back. So definitely invest in your idea, and that's my federal trademark.
So part of that investment in looking at this maybe through a different lens is it's really insurance for your business, doing the work up front to protect that goal.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You know, the beauty of intellectual property, what I love about this panel today is we're talking about legacy building. And so it's something that's often overlooked and misunderstood. But when I think of a trademark, trademarks last as long as you use them. So when we're long gone, our children can still have the name of the business as long as they use it. And you think of Coca-Cola being the oldest trademark from the 1800s. So people watch television at night and they see those commercials and know about patents, but they assume that because I registered my business in DC, because I created my website, I own the name. And that is not the case. When you have things protected at the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and you have your copyrights protected at the Library of Congress, you can enforce those rights. So definitely take advantage of it. And I'm glad whenever I get the opportunity to speak out about it, because people don't understand it. And they say women and minorities are least likely to protect their intellectual property.
Is there a reason that's so? Why are they just more trusting?
No, well, the reason is because when you think of inventors, you have most are engineers, and there's an automatic disparity amongst women and minorities when you think of STEM related fields. So that's why we have a program like Kidgineer to provide that early exposure and intervention at an early age. And then when you think of brands, it's just because people don't know. It's not something that's talked about. And so I recently authored 2 best-selling books that I'd like to tell you all about inventing and all about trademarks. Those can both be purchased at evansiplaw.com/books or on Amazon. And they're the first books written from the perspective of a former patent examiner and former trademark examining attorney. So that's what's unique about my background, is that I worked at both the Patent and Trademark Office as a patent examiner and a trademark examining attorney. And I'm proud to have had my firm for 13 years, representing a range of entrepreneurs from as young as 7 years old to as old as 96 years old. So I'm very proud of that, as well as representing Fortune 100 and global companies around the world.
Now, Andrea, where is your firm located?
My physical office is in Laurel, Maryland, but believe it or not, I've never met probably 75% of my clients because they're all over the world.
So you were doing virtual meetings before it was necessary?
Yes, I was. And you know, one tip that I want to say to the young entrepreneurs watching, because I live with young entrepreneurs, my children are 16 and 7 years old, and the youngest inventor that I work with was 7 years old, is to all the children that are watching, I want you all to go to your parents and say, hey, listen to me, because children are inventors too. And they don't live in this box that adults do. So they have ideas and they just express their ideas and they just want to talk about their ideas and they're so proud of it. But people don't realize a child invented the rolling backpack because he got tired of walking around school with his backpack hanging off of his back with all those heavy books and invented the rolling backpack. And you'd be surprised about what you can talk about around a dinner table and how inventive children are. So you know, definitely when you are thinking of things you can do, even teenagers, you're on TikTok, you're on Snapchat. My daughter has found so many virtual social media posts because there's so many adults that don't know how to use social media that are willing to pay her to post these TikTok videos on behalf of their companies. And just like adults, everybody can have a business because it's what people ask you to do every day for free. So you're that friend that everybody calls to ask to go with them to the store to find a good outfit. One of my clients said, look, I'm tired of going shopping with my friends. I'm going to start a business behind it. So that's her business now, to go shopping for her friends. So anything that people ask you for and that you love to do, I work with a lot of people in the beauty industry, similar to Honey Bunny, jewelry, as Gabrielle said, the sky is the limit. And I love that moon analogy because if you can see it or dream it, you can achieve it.
I love that one as well. I am a dollar and cents person, and if you can provide some kind of guidance, and I know there's several other people on the panel as well. It's like, how much money should I set aside if I'm starting up a business? I know there's no catch-all, but how much should I set aside for legal services to open a business? Because if I'm,
yeah, so
I want to make sure that I'm prepared.
Yes, the intellectual property part is not as expensive as people think. So believe it or not, you can get a trademark for less than $2,000, and the trademark lasts as long as you use it. So when you think of something lasting 100+ years, that is a drop in the bucket. It's a business expense. It's worth every dime. And patents cost more. There's more work involved, and they can range from maybe 10,000 plus. But when you have a multi-million-dollar invention and you're standing in front of sharks on Shark Tank, that's a drop in the bucket when that $10,000 turns into $10 million. So I want to impress upon everyone watching that, like I said, my trademark is invest in your idea. You have to invest in it and do the right things to protect your intellectual property now, because we don't have enough time to talk about it, but there are things that you can do to jeopardize your rights, or you can actually give away your invention, or you can file something and assume that you have the right protection and you don't. And so where I make most of my money is not from protecting intellectual property, it's from enforcing intellectual property where people don't have it and they're scrambling. And guess what? They find out about the infringement because someone tagged them on a post and congratulated them for an award that they didn't get, or someone purchased a product that they're complaining about and they want to return it and they realize, hey, this isn't me, you know. And there's so many ways to protect it that it's worth scheduling an hour consultation to just get an overview to understand what you have and what those options are. And definitely I want to encourage everyone to text Evans IP Law to 33777. We have a lot of free information on our newsletter, participate in a lot of events like this, and I'm just excited when I get the chance to talk about what I'm passionate about, and that's protecting intellectual property.
Thank you. Very, very useful information. I'm curious, Gabrielle, have you had a lot of experience on the legal aspect of your businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I have all of my my names of my companies trademarked, from the branch company, which is Gabrielle Jordan, INTL, to Excel, to Jules of Jordan. So yeah, and my logos are trademarked as well.
Did you have someone provide guidance with that, or you just research? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was younger when we started out, and so my mom was a big help for that. But yes, she got guidance from someone that from a lawyer friend that she knew. But yeah, it's definitely, I recommend, because as you continue on and getting more trademark and even more legal advice, getting from people like Andrea Evans, and I've actually interviewed Andrea for Excel with Gabrielle, which is a show that we used to do with Excel Youth Mentoring Institute, and she talked a lot about how important it is to really be informed in terms when you're doing trademarking and even patenting, and how important it is to be informed in that. And so definitely I say Andrea Evans is definitely a great person to talk to about that, and a person I wish I had got the opportunity to talk to before when I was starting out, so I could have had more information when I got started.
Thank you. And we have time for one question because I know we're going to be booted in 2 minutes. The one question I have is from David Gutierrez. Do you have any advice on drafting partnership agreements when forming an LLC with multiple managing members? And that's to Andrea.
Yes, so I definitely would recommend that you seek the help of a small business attorney. So there are attorneys that specialize in different fields from divorce to business. So again, you have to spend a little money up front in business, but it's almost like that sword where when you need it, you pull it out and you can use it. So take the time to sit down with an attorney, and it's going to save you money in the long run because you know that everything is airtight. And a contract is one of those things that you don't use it until you need it. You don't use it until someone runs away with your business or somebody is, stealing something from you. So you want to make sure the terms are airtight and you're not going to Google and just trying to copy and paste. So seek the help of a small business attorney in the state that you're located in, and I'm sure they can help you.
Thank you for your time. We want to do a lightning round of closing comments. Nicola, can you provide any pearls of wisdom in closing?
Yes, thank you, Keith. I want to say that as you start to develop your business plan, you need to look at your business structure. This is what Andrea was talking about. You need to decide, are you going to be a sole proprietorship? That means one person. Are you going to be a limited liability company, corporation? That could be you partnering with someone else for tax purposes also, because Uncle Sam is going to get his money. And certainly you need to decide if you're going to be a corporation. All of these are business structures that you need to decide upon. So, number one, decide on which business structure you're going to be in. Number two, develop that business plan with the 13 steps and any other needs that you may have associated with developing or growing your business. DC Small Business Development Center is here to help you.
Thank you. We have time for one last one. We're going to be booted. Let's go to Honey Bunny, Naya, and Zori. Do you have any final remarks you'd like to add? Unmute your.
Bye now.